This is Legacy Battle. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on whatever you're listening on. I'm Michael Adams, carrier Legacy Battle. My co-host tonight from the Gridiron Battle Zone, Brian King. We got a special interview here for you tonight. We're joined by, she's a professional golfer already at 18 years old. She played in her first tournament at 6 years old, and she started winning right away. She didn't take any time with that. She's got a great story to tell, and it's one that's just starting. So you're going to want to follow this girl's career in the future here, but she's making us all proud here in the Tampa area. She's from Tarpon Springs, so it's awesome for us down here. And we're joined by golfer pro Nicole Felce. Nicole, thank you for coming on.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yes, this is going to be fun. We've been talking, throughout the week about this, so I'm excited to finally have you on. So we're going to jump right into our interview. Brian will start us off. Yep.
Okay, Nicole. So let's start back at the beginning. On July 18th, 2010, at the age of just 6, you made your debut playing in your first golf tournament. Were you nervous, scared, excited? And how did you get interested in golf at such a young age?
Yeah, so actually, it happened on my 6th birthday, like you said. So I had to make my parents make some rearrangements at Chuck E. Cheese that year. But yeah, I was mostly just really excited. At that age, I was just like, just want to play, just want to go out there. I was with my parents. My dad was caddying for me. So, but actually, it's a funny story of how I got started because my dad actually played pro baseball in the minor leagues with the Braves. So naturally, he wanted me to be, a softball player. So I'll try to tell the story kind of quickly, but basically, I think I was like 1 or maybe almost 1, and we were like in a department store like Ross or like TJ Maxx, and my dad was looking for one of those like bat and like tee sets for kids, like they can hit off the tee and baseball stuff. So he went to the toy section and he's looking, and he finds it. It's there. It's the bat, the tee, all the like plastic balls. And right next to it is a little kid's plastic golf set. And he was just like eyeing it, but he really wanted the baseball. And God spoke to him and told him to buy the golf clubs that were right next to the baseball set. And he kind of had a little like debate in the aisle with God. He's like, I don't know anything about golf. I don't even like golf. Why? And God told him, he's like, I'm going to put people in your life and her life to help you with the journey. And he definitely has. But he came back to the car. I was like I said, a toddler. And my mom was like, what's that for? My dad's like, I don't know. And we went home, threw it in the closet. I think he gave it to me for Christmas. And I have a picture that I probably should send you guys with me like at the clubs, and it's history. The rest is history. It's crazy. And God was not wrong. He definitely did put people in my life throughout my whole career so far that really helped me in my journey.
All right, so we established 6 years old. You start out 9 holes shooting 50s, 40s, 30s. I mean, 30s like 3 holes for me, so that's pretty good. But do you remember that first win and what you felt when you got that first win?
Very little. I do remember it like a little bit, which is surprising, but I think because I was just like so excited and just didn't really even maybe get the magnitude of it yet. But I do remember it. I do remember I played with an older girl. I think she was like 8 or 9. So yeah, at that moment, it was really special. And to start at such a young age is a huge advantage too, because I just learned so much so early and was able to put it towards my game like at a very young age. Was able to kind of progress. It was very fast for me at a young age.
Just to add to that question real quick, with your scores going down, was that because you were getting more power or was it just more accuracy?
Probably more accuracy. I was hitting more greens. I was putting better. I just got better really fast. And I found my swing coach that I'm with now when I was 7. So she really was a huge part in my scores getting lower. And especially with my swing, she really got me like hitting the ball straighter, a little bit further. So for sure.
But as a junior golfer, you won 85 times over half of the events that you entered. How were you able to have so much success at the junior level? And please tell us about this Future Champions Golf Callaway Junior World Championships, an event that you won at the age of 12 by an amazing record, 12 strokes.
Yeah, that was quite the tournament. But to answer the first part of the question, I I guess I really played a lot when I was a kid, like probably a couple times a month in tournaments, and I would practice every day. Um, but a huge part of my development was I played with older girls. So I was like 7 playing with like 10, 11-year olds. And when I was 10, I was playing with girls my age, like 18. So playing with them made me like hit it further off the tee because they were so much bigger, so much older than me. And that really kind of skyrocketed my development at such a young age. But for the tournament, that was probably one of my first like really kind of wow, this is it moment and in the junior level because I flew to California. It was a 3-day tournament. You know, I played like 3 or 4 practice rounds. It was huge, and there were a lot of girls in it from all around the world. And that moment for me, winning that tournament by 12 strokes and at 12 under par, was kind of like, I think this is what I'm meant to do. This is what God created me to do, because it was just kind of, I remember it vividly, but it just is such a blur. It was such a cool experience, and everything that came after that, you know, being in Sports Illustrated for that was really cool. And but in California we played, and it was like a different climate. I'd never been there before. So it was warmer, it was drier air, and the conditions were different. So it was a really cool experience for me, especially being only 12 and winning it at such a large margin was definitely a blessing and really cool.
Well, I understand that as you were growing up as a child and young adult, you had to try and like fit in getting an education
Yeah.
in with trying to get as much practice as possible on the golf course and all those events. So how were you able to balance all of that responsibility?
Yeah, so I went to elementary school, basic, in school, local school, and I was actually supposed to start virtual school, which I did. I was supposed to start in 6th grade. I didn't like it the first like week, so my dad put me in middle school for 6th grade, and I went the whole year in school. I didn't like it. It was very different than elementary school, and I found that it was hard for me to balance my practice because I wouldn't get out of school till like 3, and it was just a lot tougher. So I made the decision to go to virtual school full time. I started in 7th grade, and I actually ended up graduating early. I graduated in 11th grade instead, so 2021. Um, and it was a sacrifice. I told people all the time, I said it was a massive sacrifice because I had to lose that social outlet, which I adored in school. So, but for me to be able to just wake up and go to practice in the morning and come home and do school, it worked out perfect because I was able to really put a lot of my time and energy into something I really, really love, which is golf. And I had to really focus on school. Like the first couple of years, I kind of put it off a little bit, and I struggled with like keeping up with it. But once I got the routine, I was able to really push through. And like I said, I graduated early, so I had to like do. I think I did like 2 maths in one semester to get it done. So it was pretty crazy, but yeah, it was worth the sacrifice for sure.
That actually answered a lot of my next question, so I'll go to my next one after that. If I think I got this right, your first pro event was at 14 years old.
Yes, I was still an
Is that
amateur, but I
still
played well.
amateur?
Mhm.
So how did that first one go? What were your nerves like?
It
How'd you
was,
finish?
yeah, it was so different. It was very different. I think I finished probably middle of the pack, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, it was a different world because you're playing with pros, and these are like minor league girl pros, so they were like super hungry, really dedicated to make it to the LPGA. So, but playing with them really showed me some things I had to clean up in my game and like in my prowess, if you will, on the golf course. I was still a kid, so I had to maybe mature a little bit out there, which I definitely did. And kind of being in the spotlight a little bit, like the winner's circle for my junior career, and then suddenly kind of being the underdog, being under the radar, was kind of a little bit of a wake up call, kind of for me, being like, okay, this is serious now. This is it. This is what I'm striving for, you know. So it was really cool to experience that at only 14 because I feel it gave me a huge advantage to see things I needed to adjust and have plenty of time to fix them.
So you're now on the Epson Tour, which is a future developmental tour for the
Dream
LPGA.
come true. Dream
Right,
come true.
right. So how has that gone for you so far? And what kind of time frame is there usually before someone goes from that tour to the main tour?
Right. So basically, you got to go to Q school. that's kind of the #1 way to get status in general, especially on the LPGA. So I went last year, went to stage 1 out in Palm Springs, which was unbelievable. It was a really amazing experience. And I played really well, especially on the last day, but I missed the cut to day 4 by a shot. So that was a little painful. But I ended up getting status anyway, because I got Epson Tour status. And so right now I don't have a lot of status. So if I sign up for an event, I'm like in the lower categories. So I do sometimes get bumped out. Like right now I'm signed up for one the first week of March in Winter Haven. I'm on the alternate list. So hopefully I get bumped back in. But it's a process because it's all about status. So the better you play in Q school, the more status you get. And that's why it's so important to make sure you do well in Q school. So this year I'm going to go back. Hopefully I'll make it to stage 2, which is in Venice, not far from where we all live. But yeah, like you said, like what's the process? It's a little tricky because it's kind of like if you're hot or not. You have to be like kind of on. If you're on, you'll make the cut, you'll get status. If not, you gotta go back next year. It's a long process, and it takes a lot of resources, takes a lot of travel, takes a lot of expenses, all that. But I'm only 18, I'm young, and to have my Epson Tour card is mind-blowing. I don't believe it. I just got it like on the phone the other day. So, but
Awesome.
I have the time, and I think right now I'm just working on getting better and getting a lot of experience. And then hopefully by when I'm 20 and I go back to Q school, I'll make it all the way through to stage 3 and from hope to God get my tour card, because that's really the end goal. That's really what I want.
So you just said it, you're 18, but you're already a product ambassador. So tell us how Mizuno Golf got involved with you. Did they approach you? Did you approach them? Tell us how that went down. That's a big company. I mean, that's one of the biggest in the world.
I still don't believe it. And it happened in September of last year. Yeah, so I'm on the staff for Mizuno and actually Titleist as well. But I reached out to them. I sent an email to a lot of companies, and I got with Mizuno and Titleist, but Mizuno was the huge one because they kind of made me more of an ambassador. Titleist kind of more on the player development program with them. So yeah, I reached out to them. I sent them my resume and told them I've been using Mizuno for years and I love them. And yeah, they reached out and they were like, we want to give you, we want you to be an ambassador for us. So I get all the soft goods sent to me whenever I need, and it's amazing. It's unbelievable. I'll just send an email to my rep and I'm like, okay, I need gloves and stuff. She's like, okay, it'll be at your house in a couple days, and sure enough, there it is. It's mind blowing. I've never dreamed of anything could happen like that. It's so cool.
Poor Brian and I got to go out and pay $20 for our gloves. That ain't right.
Hey, I'll send you some gloves you need.
Nice, we got a hookup now.
That's right.
So let me ask a little strategy here. So when you find that you have to play an event at a course for the first time, what is your approach in getting acclimated and familiar with that course? And also, what is the toughest course that you've ever had to play at?
That's a great question. I love that question. So every player is different. They all do their own thing. My dad and I, so we go on bluegolf.com, and most courses are on there. And we look at the satellite images of the course, and they have this feature where you can pick the yardages on the course. So for example, on hole 1, if there's water 200 something yards out, we'll figure out how far it is to the landing area and what yardage that is and what club I should hit. So we write all that down before I even see the course in person. We make our own notebook. We go there and we put that plan into action. And sometimes it needs adjusting, but most of the time it's spot on. And I usually play 2 to 3 practice rounds if I can before the actual tournament, especially if it's more than one course, like at Q school. But yeah, it's a really in-depth process for sure. But the hardest course I played, no one's ever asked me that. That's a really good question. Man, I'd probably say, I'm gonna think about that for a second.
Have you played Oakmont up in?
I haven't. No.
Okay. My brother and I grew up right next to there.
I'd say, okay, I played at Pinehurst. I forget which course. I think it was maybe number 7 That's a course. I played when I was super young. That one was tough. But the courses at a Q school were tough. The Dinah Shore course, the one that LPGA plays on, where they jump into Poppy's Pond. I played that tournament course, and that was a tough course. So probably the ones at Q school, I'd say, but I loved them because they were playable for me, but they were still tough courses.
So you may not know the answer to this one yet, but where can people see you play from, let's say, this May and on?
Probably, okay, so the Epson Tour for sure. Hoping to get into a couple events there. And I also am going to be playing in the West Florida Golf Tour, and also the East Coast Women's Golf Tour. They just like rebooted, and I'll definitely be playing in a lot of those.
Excellent. Well, if you want to see more of Nicole, especially on this show, she is going to be filling in for us as a panelist on an upcoming show. So make sure you check that one out, probably 2 weeks after this one. So keep that in mind, everybody. Nicole, thank you so much for coming on with us for this interview.
Thank you so much. It was so much fun. I loved it.
Awesome. Remind everybody, hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you all next time. Have a great night.